flex it to top lane.
Yep.
And it's going to be an option. They do ban out the Gangplank instead. Of course, that's a huge blind pick. Everybody loving to rely on the gold generation and late game power.
I don't think you blind Alawi for what it's worth.
That's a shout out there to Lourlo. We mentioned him briefly in the intro. He was playing the Alawi, you know, into a tank. It's a counter matchup. He was able to get a lot of pressure. He did play it well. And Zig kind of shouting him out, giving him respect, I like to think of it.
Yeah, speaking of respect, how happy is Captain Flowers, the highest priority jungler in League of Legends at Skarner?
Let me tell you, I don't think he's actually as happy as everyone says he is.
He's not.
Because he would rather that be a champion that nobody else pays attention to, and he can save as his own identity, right? Now that it's got this extra stun duration, everybody's using it. He's no longer a unique flower.
It's right. He's just a normal flower. No longer the captain anymore. He's been deranked at this point, demoted, everything else. 13 seconds to go for the next pickup. Lourlo is already locked in the Kalista here for Deftly. Of course, a pretty highly prized bot lane, and we're going to answer with a Jax seemingly jungle as well. It can flex top. We've seen it play top, but more likely in this role.
To me also, as a Skarner, if you early pick that, Kalista is one of the most annoying AD carries to deal with. Yes, Tristana is more annoying, but Kalista is also very difficult to get your stinger on because of her support ultimate that's always going to provide that knock-up, and then you've got a support to deal with that you have to get through. But also the constant hopping around makes her very hard to pin down. Meanwhile, some more very standard lock-ins here from OpTic's side.
Interestingly, they are going to blind the Gnar, and a pretty common counterpick to that champion is Camille, so one of those highly prized fighters that Lourlo's been playing. More and more the effort has been putting him on carries for himself, and he gets to pick the champion. So OpTic, knowing the champ's coming in, they're like, yeah, it's okay, we'll still play the matchup. Is it going to go for the blind Gnar?
And it's also a very, very viable jungle champion. We already mentioned how Contractz had a great game last time around on it. That was in large part due to comboing with Galio, but even just the individual mechanics he displayed on the champion, it could be a very valuable flex pick here. And the Camille counter into Gnar has to do with kill pressure and killing the mini form Gnar. That can come from the jungle as well. One of the biggest reasons why she shot up in the jungle is because of her gank power. She has very long range ganking. You can gank from out of fog of war distance, jump off the wall. When you're jumping towards the champion off the wall with your hook shot, you get an extra distance added onto it, and that has really caught a lot of people by surprise, especially in the early game.
All right, let's see what comes in alongside this here. What's going to pair with Kalista in the bot lane? What's going to go into the mid lane? Of course, similar ideas here on the other side of the mid lane are also needed for powerOfEvil of OpTic, as well as their bot lane marksman for Arrow. I do like that Twitch is available. I think it's still one of his very best champions here, and I think it suits the squad very well. Taliyah looks like it's going to be the blind mid lane for Golden Guardians. They lock this one in, meaning that they will wait on the support pick until the comps are locked.
Yeah, we would assume that it is a jungle Jax and a top lane Camille, and these are going to be pretty standard lineups for everybody.
Yeah.
But it will also depend on here what powerOfEvil goes with. Sometimes he can throw some crazy pick into the mix, but Orianna is available for him, and that has been fairly standard for him. Could add some speed up for Skarner. Arrow! The Arrow Draven!
Oh, exciting! Draven comes through for Arrow. This is going to be a fun one with Braum. That's a lot of power to fight in the bot lane. We'll see the Skarner ganks come in as well, and Viktor in the mid lane. I love watching OpTic Gaming. They do cool stuff.
Yeah, so Jat has loved Viktor for a long time, and I recently reignited his passion for the champion.
I like Matt's face. He's just like, wait, what is this going? What is those last two picks? He's like furrowing his brow. Please continue. Alistar comes in for Matt. Jat loves Viktor. Kobe, as you were saying.
Too late, bro.
I'm sorry. I ruined the surprise. I got excited because Matt looked confused. That was what I jumped in for.
Alistar is a great combo with Kalista, and we talked about the assistance with the ultimate. This is kind of the classic that people have been talking about. It's been that or Thresh or one of those playmaking champions. I really like the spiciness that's been added to the bottom lane here now with Draven lock-in from Arrow. Gonna have to look up the score actually from last time because his Draven became infamous. And I'm trying to recall if it was for good or bad reasons.
Well, shout out Tom Searboss just told me in my headset, Arrow's Draven is famously bad, I think. So, but he has confidence in it. I'm excited to see what comes out here. We've had very few Viktor games this season. I do want to point out Viktor got buffs at 8.3. He has a much greater shield on his Q as soon as you get the augment picked up, and he has a lower cooldown on his ultimate. Also, people have discovered you can go Fleet Footwork Viktor, now that Fleet has a very high AP ratio on it, and you play high kiting, semi-tank Viktor. I don't know if that will be the build, but it's the build I've seen most frequently for the champion now.
Yeah, that build comes from Dunn. He is the Viktor high elo player, champion.
And you know Pee-wee had to play against him. He got rank 1 in solo queue very recently.
I had to even play against him.
See, you're high elo too. I'm not good enough to play against Dunn. You two are, and I want to see what Pee-wee brings out here. Will it be Iceborne Gauntlet plus Abyssal Mask Viktor with Fleet Footwork? Spoiler, it is Fleet Footwork.
By the way, Arrow is 2-6 on Draven here for all time with a 3 KDA. We'll see if he can improve those numbers this time around. LemonNation is on Braum. Braum is a very good support for getting early kills with the CC, but Kalista Alistar is definitely difficult to do it on. Maybe we'll have an invade here, and you could get an early kill before the laning phase. Oh, Braum.
You guys chanted. Can you do that one again? What did you guys chant? I couldn't hear you over Kobe's headset. All right, you get. All right. Well, I appreciate you trying. Golden Guardians chance. I like that. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming back out with that one. So yeah, Fleet Footwork for powerOfEvil. We've also got Predator.
Contractz is surrounded, Phreak.
Oh, what? Oh no. Wait, he just got. They just told him he's coming. They revealed the Skarner
well, they
spy.
didn't know they had him surrounded.
Well, I know. You're right. Also want to point out Predator on Akaadian. So it seems like OpTic and TSM may have scrimmed a lot this week, or at least enough to have revealed that to each other. And LemonNation going to face check.
His Q's down, though.
Knock up as well. Be decent damage here, but still shots coming in. One more hit will stun. Not worth flashing for it. Gets a slow onto high. Gets another slow on the map, but no chase to come through. A lot of damage, though. LemonNation going to be very injured for the laning phase.
I like this game already.
I do, too. This is exciting.
Getting frisky.
They're still fighting. That's a Ren. That's more Qs. Let him have to flash. He does. That is more action than the entirety of game 1 of the day.
Call back everybody here who's stayed the entire time. Well done.
Yeah. You guys still here obviously stayed around for the whole day, so you guys know what you're sitting through.
We also have to look back, though, because that was a long chase, and we started on the top of the map, ended down bottom. But they did also leave wards and take that Skarner Spire up at the top side. Meanwhile, though, bottom lane is going to be our focus, right? Yeah. LemonNation, not only did he blow his flash, took a bunch of damage, and he has started a refillable potion, which is the greedier start for bottom laners. We see a lot of, especially in the pro leagues, start with those extra potions, as Alistar here, Matt, has done for the laning phase, for the dominance. And especially because of the invade, LemonNation may be punished for the start. But Arrow's got the early push on Draven, stacking up his Adoration, and he's actually going to buy some time here for LemonNation to recall in that brush, go back to refill.
Yeah. Costs him nothing, buys a rejuvenation bead, which will push toward his first upgrade. Red buff goes over to Contractz, no problem. With the hashtag sellout, new Jack skin. It's so sweet. Look how awesome he looks.
I actually have never heard you sell out that hard on a stream before in a live game.
I'll sell it for champions I enjoy watching played.
Okay.
That's pretty much it, though.
So my little tidbit on this Jack skin is that the first couple times that I saw it, it was very hard for me to tell the difference between activating his ult and his E, because I hadn't seen them, and they both are just kind of shiny and glowy.
Sure, yeah.
So I did feel like it was a pretty sick skin to add that little bit of advantage if you can hide that from your enemy.
To win.
So
that is unacceptable. Stunned! Look at that damage output. Matt was just stunned by Draven's good looks. That's canonical, by the way. That's how that works.
Meanwhile, High is roaming down early here on Taliyah. You want to walk towards the wall so you get some use out of her passive, but here we go.
There's the stun. He's looking for a bit more. Not going to land any more of it. He's only level 2. Doesn't have the trample for extra damage. Definitely feeling pretty good with lethal tempo. Jumps right back out. Feels safe.
Yeah, I was thinking they were going to try and go for LemonNation and abuse the no flash. Luckily, he is on Braum, and it's a mobile champion. You can try and jump to your AD carry if he actually took. Oh, he actually did not get stand behind me, so might have been a viable target, but not going to get anything out of that early roam from High on the Taliyah. It doesn't cost him too much. You got back pretty quickly to get most of the minions, but that is a nice minion lead here for powerOfEvil in the mid lane on Viktor, and he was able to rush back.
All right, fair point here. 200 gold lead overall to Golden Guardians, a 4 CS lead in the top lane, and 3/4 of a camp for Contractz in the jungle right here, and a little bit of pressure on the bot side as well. So we'll see what comes through out of this one. Boots' speed has come through for Akaadian. His first recall got him tier 1 boots. When we saw Mike Young do that, he actually got himself Green Smite plus boots, so it was a later recall for him, but Predator the Keystone is online. Akaadian might come in on a something. LemonNation still have more than a minute to go for his flash, plus Contractz backfilling the lane, but was sitting on a ward while doing so. Now knows he was on a ward.
Oh, Predator might be used mid lane here, you're talking about. High.
Has to flash away from the would-be stun. Also burns summon heal for movement speed, but Akaadian's still on the chase. He's a very quick Scorpion. Gonna land the stun flash for the damage. No way out for High. The Predator gets first blood for powerOfEvil.
And the prey falls easily there as OpTic are able to convert on the first blood. Let's see what this mid lane will turn into. A kill going over to Viktor early is so huge. Upgrading your hex score early on means he actually gets to utilize the full potential of your kit. That's been one of the things deterring a lot of pro players from using this champion, is that you kind of need that item. But here we go in the bottom lane. They're going at it again.
A lot of damage on him. Exhausted for more damage as well. Does he have a way out of this when the chase comes in? He could flash for more. This could be the league of Draven coming in. Plus 205 in a second stun as well. Deftly's getting low. He's got no summoners, but not quite enough attacks available. A big one in the bot lane, though. OpTic getting the duo kill.
All right, Draven cashes in as well. Arrow is now a rich man with that. He's got 400 gold lead over Deftly currently. Deftly gonna try and remain in this lane and pick up the scraps that are left for him. Let's take another look here at the Predator gank, though, and this is one of the biggest things about that Keystone, getting those early boots, as you said, but the early ganks are so effective. They can just continue to run at him. Akaadian eats this full channel, doesn't care at all because he knows he'll be able to get in there for the guaranteed stun, flashes on him for that extra auto. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, the chase and that Braum passive we talked about, lending so much for an aggressive lane like this. Draven hits that blood rush, flashes forward for the last auto, and cashes right in.
Beautiful stuff right there. Good things out of that duo lane. 1,300 gold lead for OpTic as this is a team with aspirations of playoffs. If they win this one, they are only one game behind a playoff spot with 9 to go. It is certainly doable, and I will say that about 4 more times during this game. So here's what powerOfEvil is running, by the way. Presence of Mind has been very common for mid laners. Now the free mana really, really useful. Is going bonus attack speed, by the way. Otherwise going for the raw ability power in the sorcery secondary. Yeah, powerOfEvil is always one of those mage players that likes to get his auto attacks in. He's very famous for his Nashor's Tooth Orianna build. And so he was one of the ones that jumped on Fleet Footwork for mages a lot quicker than a lot of the other guys. It definitely does have a very big AP ratio, but I really feel like the speed you get from Viktor, not only from that rune, but also from the speed boost off of his Siphon Power, the Q, really allows him to navigate team fights so incredibly well when you get to the mid game that he provides really a tremendous amount of threat on the backline, while also, as you said earlier, if you incorporate the tankier build, remaining very, very difficult for your front line to really threaten. All right, what are the odds? Nashor's Tooth Viktor this game. I want to know how likely you think it is. Not very good. I'm trying. I would give you maybe like 7 to 1. All right, not taking it. Definitely unlikely. Meanwhile, Alpha lane down here, level 6 on Arrow. He's taking down the turret as well. A quick shot on elimination from the turret, but definitely getting some damage here. Arrow feeling pretty good on the BF sword pickup, and not worried yet at all from Matt coming in on that one. Look at it. Oh, we actually popped the Predator. 2 on 2, they can get damage on High, who's still summonerless, but the threat of Contractz' Jax is pretty big. Ulti used, they didn't pull him in actually. So looking for the kid up, not gonna go for it here, out they go. Yeah, the Chaos Storm may be a little bit premature there. I don't know if he expected Akaadian to get the pull or not, but doesn't do much damage. Yeah, a little bit of a yikes there. Jumbled some ultimates. Not quite sure if they had the communication down for that skirmish, but everybody backs out with their lives at least, so I think both of them will just call it a draw. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, though, I was about to bring up, this is a Ninja Tabby rush here for Deftly because Draven so incredibly oppressive in lane here. You got the cash-in on the kill for himself, and the BF sword that you mentioned mean that it's really a liability, basically, for snowballing. Damage, Matt's not 6, has Ignite, but no flash. 4 more hits gonna come through, and out he goes. Good trade. Yeah, I mean, Arrow says, okay, you got Ninja Tabbies on the Kalista. I'll just chunk the Alistar then. Goes for the support, takes him out of the fight early on. He's actually forcing a recall here and even bringing in a powerOfEvil roam to this bottom side. Spots Contractz, not going to get the E-Steal. Good smite by Contractz, make sure nothing goes away, but an attempted death ray came through all the same. Gold lead remains about 1,700 here as they gonna knock down a free ward real quick. Akaadian still waiting in the wings. Not sure if we can see the control ward, but not going into it anyway.
They did blue ping the control ward, so they might have seen it earlier.
Okay.
And had just known that it was still there. With the Spire, though, Skarner, we already seen how quickly he can take the Dragon. So good at it because you get this basically infinite mana while you're on one of these Crystal Spires. Ton of attack speed as well. And because the Skarners usually will run Celerity, that translates into a little bit of extra damage. Bottom lane being so far ahead and having priority also means it's pretty free objective here for OpTic to secure.
Absolutely the case here. So extra movement speed for the OpTic Gaming squad. The rotations may be of small importance here. Mountain Break going to be the next one up in about 6 minutes here. As Contractz kills off the ward and once again looks for the opposing jungler. Doesn't know his health bar is low, but it's actually pretty injured Skarner. And a quick steal gets the big chicken.
And again, it is a super effective Drake for this team. Akaadian on Skarner out of combat move speed is tremendously effective, especially when combined here with the Predator that he's running. Flashes back and available with the ultimate available, so we'd expect him to get back out on the map and try and make a play. Currently though, High roaming up towards the top side. We haven't seen a lot of action. Lourlo can ult him and try and keep him in place for this, but they're a little wary.
Yeah, and Skarner wasn't really nearby. They theoretically could have gone for the play. I don't know if they were afraid of getting a counter gank or something coming through, but they do not pull the trigger. Akaadian going to come back up, actually get spotted by the ward, and we'll get a Scuttle Crab to make his top laner feel safe in the future. Jack's still around top side, but Lourlo taking a very defensive recall. You can see him above the Krugs back there. Going to lose part of this wave as it gets shoved in.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming just feel like they have complete control of this game. They've neutralized a lot of the possible playmaking tools that Golden Guardians would have. You know, bottom lane Kalista, Alistar, they've gone completely defensive here. Even after level 6, where you're usually like, ooh, Kalista, Alistar, so much playmaking. They're so far behind. It would definitely be difficult for them to make a play on the bottom side. And then High on the Taliyah hasn't been able to get any sort of control to make roam plays with either. So it feels like, you know, OpTic Gaming get their choice of where to activate.
Yeah.
And it looks like Predator was used there from Akaadian a little bit ago, so he doesn't have the
nothing
the dive potential.
No. Do want to point out, powerOfEvil got all the way to perfect hex core without any issues at all. Got that on pretty safe recall. The first blood obviously helping, but now he's in that power mode. So now we get to see where the build actually diverges, what he's going to buy next. I'm curious to see what it's going to be.
With all these roams too, or I mean all these wards, the roam plays have been spotted out. There we go.
Themselves a little action here. PoE flashes away, puts on the KF from lots of damage there. They're going to just knock down Contractz 2-on-2. Not going to find the knockup, and Camille turns back as well. So now Akaadian finds the slow, finds the stun. No, it's going to be a flash out from High. And that would have been a kill if he didn't flash away from the auto attack. So out he goes, but another fight won by OpTic.
Yeah, so I was talking about with all the wards, they see this roam play in action. Even though Golden Guardians know they have an extra member in Lourlo roaming down, they made the play too early.
Lands at least some of the ability. That's going to be the kill on a High. Nice shot comes through. Doesn't need the Q. Summoner's Burn, the kill comes down. That's going to be maybe first turret in the mid lane. It's getting low. Yeah,
this one is turning into a smashing here. Akaadian did such a good job on that Skarner, even after he had activated his Predator, so they knew that he was on this quadrant of the map. They had seen it pop up over their heads. He lies in wait on the Spire, in the brush, just for the timing for the counter gank, and that has resulted in what we just saw. Tower going down, that's first turret bonus gold, so OpTic Gaming really starting to surge.
Really well for themselves. Watch this fight again as Contractz more or less face checks into this.
Yeah, and remember, this is where he's run powerOfEvil baiting them over to the brush that's got the Scorpion inside. Akaadian waits just till the last second there of the stun from the gravity field, uses his ult to drag him back in, secure the kill. Very nicely done. They also got the flash down, so then for the dive, no flash available on this Taliyah, and LemonNation, even though he flashes and misses the Q, he's got another one in there.
Yep.
In the cards there, uses the ultimate, nails him with that one.
Targeted slow is good enough, worth definitely using these off for that kill.
Ex-teammates there, actually.
Yeah.
LemonNation gets a cheeky kill onto High, former captain.
Absolutely. Played together in Cloud9 as well as FlyQuest. They've all found new teams themselves this year, and now an attempted play in the bot lane. They're going to almost find Arrow Knight's flash for the knockup, pulling him back in as well. This could be a very dead Draven. He is shut down, taken away. Signal going to come through, a nice headbutt, and the rend means 2 kills in for Deftly.
Very nice move here from Golden Guardians. They do not lose their hope. make a big play on the bottom side, and this is what they need to get back into this game. They should be able to get some turret gold off of the bottom, and even though it might be a trade, that is just fine if you're this far behind in the early game. It's so much better to make a proactive play like that, get a couple of kills, start trading some of these objectives so you can really stabilize. So good pickup there, and we'll see if they're able to finish off this turret in time. Should be able to do it.
Seems likely the top is going to be traded here, so it should be a 2-to-1 turret score. Solo gold given over to Zig in the top side, it looks like. Akaadian tagged it for a second, then walked away, so extra money on this Gnar to help his 1v1. Looks like Rift Herald being attacked as well by the OpTic top side duo. There we go, bottom lane will finally fall. I think smart by Golden Guardians to stay, and actually, Contractz might find himself another kill as LemonNation a little bit alone on this one. Gonna run out of health pretty rapidly, puts the ulti down, buys a few more seconds, but Ren should secure the kill, and Deftly finds his third in a row. LemonNation throwing away his life.
Golden Guardians now playing very well around the bottom side. Contractz returns to this Kalista lane. Deftly is 3 kills Kalista, and he had been CSing just fine in the lane, despite Arrow grabbing the kill early on. So this Kalista is going to be the way for Golden Guardians to get back into this game. They have to play around Deftly. We're going to take a look at the cooldown on his ultimate. Once this is back and available, expect them to make the play.
All right, let's see if they can find that next one in right here. Infinity Edge rush through for Arrow. Lots of damage output for him. Zerkree's in as well.
I so often see Dravens, especially if you get an early cash in, rush for the Bloodthirster,
right,
because it makes you this machine that is so difficult, to get any damage through, and Draven can just kind of stand there and
lifesteal tank.
Take the trades because he can lifesteal tank you, and as long as he's grabbing axes, has the bigger chunk.
But this does make him less Q reliant if the team fight's moving around a lot. He's got a flash crowd control and stuff. He's got the follow-up damage since the Q bonus wouldn't crit. It is an interesting choice all the same, and theoretically good DPS. If he doesn't need the lifesteal, that's going to be a pretty dead turret, and whoever summoned it should get the last hit and the local gold out of that one as they move down towards this Drake, and should have no problems grabbing it as well. Stands by the Spire means the axes almost can go nowhere, and they're very easy to grab. There's the hit, 2 Drakes in a row, and even the local gold to Akaadian as well, courtesy of Shelly. A lot going right for OpTic, even though they did make those mistakes in the bottom lane earlier.
All right, let's see if they can secure some more vision for themselves so that those mistakes will become fewer. Right now, they're working their way into the jungle. Pretty decent job here, especially on the top side, laying down the control wards, trying to get some of the deeper vision past the camps even, through to the Raptor Bush. And powerOfEvil farming their own jungle, actually, while Akaadian's coming back out. And he'll just have to deal with... Oh, he leaves it for him.
Nope. Oh, see?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, he smited it. I would do the same, honestly.
You would? That's fair.
It is the most tilting thing. Later in the game, especially when you're losing, your teammates will default to farming your camps, but sometimes they'll see you coming and be like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have done that, because you have the jungle item and you can get, bonus catch-up experience and stuff. Then they'll walk away, which causes the camp to leash and delay.
Follows them around the map.
Yeah, it'll cause it to delay because it has to go all the way back, regenerate, and you end up both losing more time.
Yeah.
It's tilting.
Well, he smited it and he got it. Nice knockback onto Akaadian. Actually gets pretty low. Now the headbutt pulverized means the front line under attack. Nice knockout for LemonNation, but still chasing on towards this Skarner. And they get the kill. Matt gets it in a 4-to-4 kill game as TP is canceled.
Exactly. They play around the Kalista ultimate. Deftly here, able to go in. Level 11 Kalista. He's got the kills, and Golden Guardians strike back again.
Wow, big stuff out of this one as Lourlo just kills away some more minions in the mid lane. Guardians only down 2,000. This is certainly within reach for them, and suddenly they found Matt. Does not have his ultimate available, so slow is a really big deal. LemonNation finds it as well. That should be a kill. powerOfEvil grabs it with a Lich Bane item. A lot of burst on that Q now, and now the fight continues as Zig is in a dangerous location, cannot escape, jumps the wall, flashes over the chase. He goes the wrong way. The flash, though, will finally give Lourlo the 5th kill of the team. Yeah,
High missed quite a few abilities there, which causes Lourlo to burn his flash. They might be feeling that cooldown later, but it is another pickoff for them. Even though Matt did go down to OpTic on the top side, the scattered kills coming through for Golden Guardians is what they would like this game to turn into at the moment. Yeah. They want to make use of, the mobility that they have. Kalista, Taliyah, they make a lot better plays when the map is spread out and you're just side lane skirmishes.
Absolutely agree, and they probably need to hide away if they don't get the instant pick on powerOfEvil, who is very high damage right now, a lot of mobility. Lich Bane gives move speed, obviously.
Yeah, he's not going to the tank build there.
No, he is going the high damage build. Sork Shoe's even in as well, which I find a bit interesting. And we very frequently see cooldown boots be almost ubiquitous, and Sometimes a lot of Ghost in that champion as well, with Spellbook sometimes being around, but he's going for Summoner Heal plus the full flat Magic Band, so it's a very bursty build actually out of PoE.
It's a bursty build. It opens himself up to some kills from things like Alistar engages, Camille jumping right on top of him. So there are some openings, and there's possible drawbacks to going this way, but again, the DPS output is going to be insane from the Viktor, especially if his front line can protect him. You do have a Gnar, you do have Braum and Skarner, which is very substantial front line with a lot of control. If they can allow him to get his autos off between the spells, this is going to be a huge DPS output for the team.
All right, let's see what comes in next. Is the blue buff going to go over towards high, and Golden Guardians mending their wounds reasonably well. They are still down 3-1 in turrets and 2-0 in Drakes, but certainly a game within reach for the teams. They can find their second win of the split so far and tie for 9th place and maybe start climbing up the standings slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean,
grab yourself some more.
You have the Camille up to the Trinity Force plus Tiamat. That means that you can clear the waves pretty quickly with your Tiamat, and you also have Trinity Force for dueling the Gnar and trying to threaten Zig in the 1v1 in the side lane, which is exactly what they're trying to get done. They've actually rotated Taliyah to deal with the mid lane wave. Matt now has the confidence that Deftly's ultimate on Kalista is back up, so that's why he is playing this more aggressive Alistar, keeping the vision of the enemies in the river and allowing them to push up that.
All right, and as the wards continue to fall, going up and down, back and forth, Akaadian managed to slightly miss one of those wards and put it close to his other one, but looks to see what's going on near the red buff, and they might be playing for Baron in the very near future. High, the second to clear mid lane, means Golden Guardians are generally losing out in vision that side of the map. OpTic got a few quick peeks down that way, but the wards they put into the jungle are dead once again, and we'll also lose top river back one more time. Nice little poke out of PoE. These teams are going to keep fighting over this barren river.
Should also be noted that Deftly has been able to get a QSS on the Kalista. So you do have a counter if there's a situation where Akaadian pops Predator and he has his flash available, goes for the Kalista. They know that that's the big carry on the Golden Guardian side. Now there is an answer. So you have to be careful and always check the inventories when you're playing a champion like Skarner or Malzahar or something that really has to work around those item pickups.
Okay, things see. Definitely not the ideal target. Everyone else is Quicksilver Sashless, so a flash ult on Taliyah from high, or towards high, likely to be a kill.
Yeah, my personal favorite is going for melee champions that dive into your team. You know, squishier, Camille, Yasuo, these melee carries basically are my favorite target if you're with Skarner. The only problem is Camille's ult will probably push you away because she will ult someone else. And then you have to, fit your way back in there. But ideally, I think you'd like to lock down Lourlo and keep him from killing off the Viktor there. Use it as peel more than primary engage.
Let's see if you can peel him off, because again, it's a squishier, less defensive, less mobile build out of powerOfEvil. Going towards what I'm guessing to be a Void Staff on his next item, but there's a lot that builds out a Blasting Wand. Rylai is also a viable option, obviously. It used to be one of the very common items on the champion. I have to wait to see, and it is Rylai's. Okay, so now he has a bit more of a cutting defensive option for himself with his build moving forward. They fight over the chickens. A couple go Akaadian's way. The smite, I think, actually was Contractz to get that one. Nope, that was definitely Akaadian. I think he just didn't get the last hit.
Junglers are very protective of their Raptors nowadays. I keep seeing all the pro junglers tweeting out about dreaming about. It was Akaadian, I think, talking about how he had been dreaming of killing Raptors.
I remember that tweet. Yeah.
I don't know if they were his own or if he was counter jungling at the time, but that's how big the focus is on this camp right now for the pro junglers.
Okay, wall used, I believe, to scout Baron, because none of their vision actually could see the control ward in the pitment. Golden Guardians can see nothing, but that is now a one vision tool off the table. High can no longer use that for the next minute and change. Drake still coming through for Zig on the bottom side of the map. There shouldn't be much of an issue. Looks like no one's going to stop him.
Do you ever dream about League of Legends, Phreak?
I have.
I definitely, especially if I'm playing a game a lot, will sometimes have it. Matt, though, he's going to be dreaming as he gets ulted out.
And they've born double ults, actually. He used his own as well as Deftly doing it. That's a mistake of coordination. You don't ever need to use both.
All right, let's see what OpTic can do with this. They know that they have the advantage here. All ultimates available for OpTic. Lots of summoners as well. Even with the vision advantage.
Oh, Contractz in the front line. Only a couple hundred HP down, but this is a two ult missing. Golden Guardians line up. Their tanks are now squishy unkillable.
Yeah, this is two of the biggest ults for
Yeah.
them. So much of the control of this team composition comes from the bottom lane. They've got to be scared.
Yeah, to make it more correct, actually, a third ult down as high. I'd used his pretty recently, but 2 lost from that exchange. So only Jax and Camille. Camille's pretty good. Jax just kind of tank stats. Not to the level of Alistar, quite obviously. As Arrow can walk up and get rid of some of these minions and keep the farm going. Static Shiv, nice wave clear for himself. Actually does mean extra burst on his first auto. If he gets lucky, that's 1.5 million damage.
Tons.
Nice to see. Yeah, tons indeed.
Honestly, though, Golden Guardians will be happy to just let them wave clear right now. They want to get those cooldowns back up, wait out the timers. They're really looking for inaction at the moment. I guess the only one who's a little bit scared right now would be High, extending a bit in the mid lane. Aside from that, though, they're actually keeping it at a very neutral state, which is definitely preferred for them.
And I'm a bit surprised OpTic didn't go for anything a bit more aggressive. They had just power spiked on both PoE and Air with the Rileys and Static Shiv both being done. It felt like a great time to go for a big play as they
just testing.
Look at this. Also, there is a regular invisible ward from Golden Guardians in the pit, not revealed by the control ward. So I think they don't know that this is actually visible on the one side.
Oh, control ward a little bit too far back, I think.
That is a hero ward for Guardians. They know exactly what's going on. They will not get outplayed vision-wise as LemonNation looks for the player on the wings, but no. Guardians exactly the right response, staying around.
I'm not sure how that control ward from OpTic was placed in the Baron pit. Sometimes if you put it too close to Baron, Baron knocks it off, and it does jump out that far extra range. Could have been that, or he could have just placed it there in the corner. Regardless, though, Golden Guardians happy. They didn't have to overextend.
Look for the stun. They found PoE. The Squishy gets the flash away and stays alive. They've peeled the front line, and Arrow gets a shutdown on the Contractz. Now the dive in for Camille. Can they find this Golden Guardians? Definitely no shutdown. A second kill for Arrow. The fight continues as the Viktor does indeed fall, but a third one comes in. 3 for the Draven. Another one for the Gnar. It will not be the Penta. It does get denied. The stopwatch used just to buy 2.5 seconds. Matt will fall. A quadra for Draven. Zig is a scumbag, but it does mean Baron goes cleanly to OpTic.
Arrow will definitely be improving on his Draven numbers after this game, as OpTic claim the Baron, and there are quite a few turrets up for them to take after this. So this could be one of those bigger Baron power plays you see. 3 secondary turrets are available after they reset on the base. The idea here from Golden Guardians, you can definitely tell, obviously, is to go for this high DPS, squishier Viktor immediately. And they do sacrifice the Jax. Contractz gets popped very quickly. It was a good peeling ultimate from Akaadian that we were talking about on the Skarner, and it allowed them to kite long enough that even though Viktor eventually goes down, Arrow went, unthreatened in this fight, and that is a crit build Draven.
Yeah.
He's able to put out the DPS, pick up the Quadra, and now he's wearing purple.
They were close on comboing at a 1-second stun from Contractz. You saw Matt flash in, you saw High flash in. Yeah. They tried to land the next CC, and it did not land in time. PoE's flash was available, and they did not get rid of the Viktor. He got his full combo out, and it went pretty nicely. Obviously, Arrow untouched, got a lot done as well. Rapid Fire Cannon done as well. And this Draven and this Viktor both now are huge. All the rest of the team just has to peel for them, and they'll win any team fight they want.
Yeah, it's really actually a good feeling when the enemy team engages on you with that much coordination, but you're still able to just spam out all of your spells. Even though you die, you're like, I help you, team, with my last dying breath.
Yep.
Hopefully you can win the team fight, and they were indeed able to do that. There's secondary turret number 1. Secondary turret number 2 here should just be another source of gold for the squad, as Golden Guardians can't really wave clear.
And down it goes. Last hit credit goes over to Zig. Turret number 5 in this game. Guardians still have only gotten 1 from that bot lane 15 minutes ago. It's going to require more and more in this game for Guardians to find their comeback victory. This time at least PoE is flashless. Maybe they do find something next time around. He is going for more damage, not towards the Zonias or anything with his next item. But it's still going to be incredibly tough just to find that target here. 4 autos, gets rid of the red buff. Arrow gets another piece of power to himself. Sustains a full level lead over Deftly here.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Golden Guardians. They're going to have to make another all-in, and this time around, it's going to be into a team that has a pushing advantage, has a vision advantage, has been able to spend all of that extra gold advantage, and now they're removing a lot of the avenues for any of those all-ins to come from. So pushing up here on the bottom side. They're going for a split. It looks like the sacrifice on the secondary turret is going to be the case, and a real last-moment stand is probably going to come at the inhibitor turret.
The defense is going to be held. 40 seconds left on the Baron buff. Late timeout by the time they go for the real siege in earnest, but they are walking forward. Well, a little bit of a lone time top lane, knocks down top outer, number 2 for Golden Guardians, and this plus one more wave can be sent into the bot lane as some damage dealt right here. The wall going to come in to force the retreat. They've actually sequestered out Akaadian, who does have flash. Doesn't yet burn a lot of damage, and definitely now Matt in the front line pops Zono, stays alive, and gets pulsed right back in by the Kalista and chooses maybe not to keep fighting. And that means a few more autos will knock down the turret, and it does indeed drop out.
And they're inside the base. Inhibitor should be next. Mid lane minions are already pushing, so OpTic can just go to mid lane, take down Inhibitor turret number 2 here. Looks like they're going to fully reset and go for the Drake instead, though. Baron buff has just timed out, so they wouldn't have that extra advantage for the push. Looks like without that, they're not going to overextend.
No contest on the Drake shouldn't be a problem for OpTic Gaming. I want to point out what PoE just built, by the way. He actually went for an Archangel Staff as his 4th major item. It is not too hard to stack up. You get 8 mana per charge, and considering his shield has now a gigantic mana ratio attached to it. It's a bunch of AP, a bunch of mana. That's what the shield scales off of. And he's got so much mana because of what the build looks like for Viktor. It's a really efficient AP and tank item. Not even counting the Seraph's active when it combines. So I hadn't thought of that being the build, but it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, even though he was able to put out all his spells and die last time, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to die anymore. Get a little bit of extra tankiness in there. It still, as you said, though, is so effective for his DPS as well. All-around great pickup, and we'll see what OpTic can actually do with that as they reset. Super minions, of course, will be on the bottom side, so they could even have Zig head up top instead with his teleport, get that into position, and let the minions do the work on bottom, while the rest of the squad just coordinates around mid. Because all OpTic are worried about is some sort of fog of war play where somebody gets surprised and immediately jumped on, CC'd down, and some sort of surprise play. If they're able to group up ahead of time, and they should feel very, very confident.
Right, next up, clear out the jungle, get all the gold, get all the XP, play for the next objective. 2 minutes in, looks like. Get all the minion waves where you need to go. Lord Dominus Regards done as well for Arrow. Very good tank killer now with this build. Only 3 major offensive items for Deftly, so he's a full item behind. That's what gold will do for you. Oh, it's going to be Lourlo looking for a play. Can't find Zig, though, out of range for that one. Over the wall, actually, and just walks and hops and skips away. Zig, no problem.
Well, that was a lot used, actually, and now that gives priority to OpTic Gaming. They should be able to run up mid lane with this minion wave. I don't know. They stopped for the Skarner Spire. powerOfEvil went straight for it, but
looks like the Jack done. That won't go for it. Damage on him. Predator popped as well by Skarner, runs back and forth very, very quickly. A lot of burst on that one. You can see the Q laser.
Yeah, they could have killed the turret on that wave if everyone had gone straight there, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering. They just kill it on the next wave. Golden Guardians with a slight opening.
Yeah, gotta see what happens. They gotta knock back on Akaadian, but he's very tanky and there's no follow-up yet available. Camille waiting in the wings. Lourlo might look for the play. Only ult they're missing is Hive, and it's not that much of a combat ability. Can matter in fights, but not always. Brandwin's Omen done for Zig, so he's pretty tanky as a frontline tank. Deal with Deftly a bit more easily. No MR on him. Well, okay, he's got a Spectroscope, but that's it, so theoretically High can do okay. The rest of the team pretty much auto attackers here, mostly physical damage.
All right, this should be the last of this turret. Akaadian ready to go in. See if he activates Predator for this one. Turret actually just gets powered down, and Golden Guardians slowly running out of defenses.
And I actually like they've been able to actually knock down part of the base without the Baron spawning yet. They just with their gold lead said, yeah, we can push you off the map, take down mid lane, inhib turret. Now playing for an attempted bush snipe.
And I think the Golden Guardians will probably poke around and just go for the fight. They don't have one of those team comps where you can just rely on super late game and say, hey, we're going to outscale. They have to come up with some sort of creative play.
Looking for this one, maybe a slow onto Matt. He's going to look for the engage. A flash early from PoE. He thought he was maybe going to be in a flash head but pulverize range. This is Summoner Spell down now. PoE is a viable target for the Golden Guardians comeback.
That is interesting here. Maybe they will play with a bit more caution now because that is a very important Summoner Spell. Still, though, the lead is so giant.
Oh, yeah.
At the,
You need a minor miracle. Archangel Staff more than half stacked already, PoE. 475 bonus on that one, so Seraph's not long away. And he'll be super tanky. You can see how big his shields are.
This is a vision wall, by the way, from high. Just using Taliyah to make sure they aren't burning down the Baron quite yet. Matt actually, Predator's up!
Down a half HP, gonna buy some time against Akaadian, but still wants to find someone. The next QSS, and Contractz gets out for that one. Ulti as well from Kalista. Goes to knock up yet again, but he's gonna have to flash away. One more hit will kill him. They don't quite find the shot right there on elimination. A bit of a dangerous spot. And on the bot side of the fight, we have this one as well as Contractz. Lourlo trying to run away on this side of this one. Is High gonna try to zone for the squad? Is Lourlo still running. Akaadian knocked back, and now we re-engage the top side of this one. Little jump for Contractz, but no kills either side. Health bar so much higher, though, on the side of OpTic.
All right, a little bit of a scattered fight there, but nobody goes down as the bottom side is able to kite away into the jungle. That is very far away from Baron, though, and this means OpTic Gaming should be able to get the prize, even though nobody has died.
A lot of damage coming through, and the Jack's pretty far away. Nothing in range at all to steal. Quick smite comes through, and OpTic secure yet another Baron. Their gold lead's still above 10,000.
Yep, with exposed inhibitors, this should be OpTic purchasing and going to finish the game. Take a look here at the Elder Dragon, though. 55 seconds might throw a little wrinkle into this one.
It's a really powerful Elder Dragon. I would definitely wait and pick it up if I was OpTic here to secure the victory. It's okay to pause 40 seconds to get an incredibly powerful objective.
Especially considering you would be forcing Golden Guardians to come to you out onto the middle of the map where they can actually try and chase them down.
Yep. It's all over but the crying. This would be one of those miraculous comebacks if Golden Guardians could stop this from happening now, but it seems like they're poised to go 1-8 in the first round robin, and OpTic will be only one win behind a playoff spot halfway through the spring split. Here's the improvement to continue for this squad. They were close in so many of these games. Zig just going to manicure the minion waves. TP is up. Elder Dragon in 10 seconds.
If you're trying to look for very small openings here for Golden Guardians, an exhausted Zig in mini Gnar form would be one of the only little advantages you can look for here. The Elder Dragon's up, and Zig cannot charge up the Rage Gnar bar for, I believe it goes down as you level, so I'll just...
Yeah, but several seconds.
For a while.
Full amount as the Elder Dragon is alive right now. He's actually run back from the base. He recalled and looks for this one, Elixir of Iron in inventory, and here comes the attack on Elder Dragon. Only one mountain means it's a pretty slow.
All right,
things considered.
Got it all in now. Here we go. Taliyah wall is up, and they've been sequestered.
A little bit. LemonNation off on the side, the Gnar kind of behind, so you've got Lourlo on one side, the rest of the squad right around on a mat in the front side. A nice ulti in for Braum, and a lot of damage out from PoE, and they're starting to shut down the front line as the Jax is already gone. Lourlo running out of health as well. One more. Yes, they're going to finally knock him down. Nice shot by LemonNation. Ice cold, and there's no smites left, so not a problem at all. As Matt also chased down by powerOfEvil, and Deftly and High, good luck with this one. There's a very fast Akaadian, gets the kidnap going, suppression in. High very low on health, one more shot will do him in, and he's gonna get that one picked up. High gonna fall, you have to believe, a double kill for powerOfEvil, and OpTic gonna walk this one into the base. Nothing to stop them from taking the Nexus now.
Congratulations to OpTic Gaming here. As you said, they're so close and kind of towing that line. This one is gonna push them up 3 wins thus far in the North American LCS.
2 wins in the last 3 games here for OpTic, feeling a little bit better about the first round robin. 3-6, 1 behind a playoff spot. OpTic pick up a somewhat expected win.
They said they were going to put in more hard work than the other teams, and they weren't that worried about a slow start. They were eventually going to be able to see their gains. Definitely a valuable win here over somebody very close in the standings. And a fairly clean one.
Hug between LemonNation and High. Of course, they spent so many years together. It's got to feel good to think back on the FlyQuest days when they were there, and it's like, High plus, ooh, these guys, all right, well, they can try their very best, and now LemonNation on a bit of a stronger team here, and this one feels pretty good about his win.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people haven't been following competitive League of Legends for that long in North American LCS, but High and LemonNation were 2 of the guys that got along the best in you know, the original Cloud9. Then they moved over to FlyQuest together. They both thought about the game in very interesting ways, and they said that in talking to each other when they're on these teams, bouncing off of each other, they were able to come up with a lot of those innovative strategies that you kind of associate with them. You know, the LemonNation notebook, and all the dominance that they had throughout that very long period for themselves was in large part due to those two guys and the friendship that they have.
Absolutely. Smart players, great players, but sadly they do have losing records here at the end of the first round robin. It's tough. There's actually, I feel like, a lot of good teams in North America this split, and you've got, as we've mentioned several times, like a pretty tight playoff race. And with a lot of good teams, you know, not every team can have a winning record, obviously. I think OpTic can still look up and up over time. Golden Guardians, it feels like, are still trying to find what that formula is really going to be. We thought maybe Contractz and Lourlo can be really big players here, but they didn't quite have the impact it felt like they wanted to have. I know bot lane lost heads up in a 2-on-2. Contractz got more or less out-ganked by Akaadian. They lost with the mid lane skirmishes as well. So Akaadian having a pretty good game for himself, and he's done reasonably well in recent history as well. OpTic can probably build off of that in the near future.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Well executed, and congratulations once again.
All right, so congrats to OpTic, but now let's send it down to OpTic and OpTic's Axe Slinger in the bot lane.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Arrow. Congratulations on your win, and winning with the Draven pick, no less. Yeah. What inspired that pick today?
Thank you. I'm happy with this winning my Draven. Yeah, really happy.
Did you come in today thinking, I'm going to play Draven?
Yes, for sure. 100%. Yeah.
Perfect. How do you think you've done in this split so far? What do you think of your performance?
I mean, maybe I performance maybe fine or good, but I think it's not enough to. I think I didn't show enough my 100% performance, so I want to show more than more. Like, I'm not enough. It's not enough.
What are you trying to work on?
As you watch it in this game, I died at bot lane, which is there was only thing was I died there. It's only they can win that moment. So yeah, that was my mistake. And then I kinda, you know, on the stage, if we are winning fight or if I got some kill, I just kinda have enthusiasm. Like some, like this. So, as in the bottom side of the pit, the team fight, when I got quadra kill, after triple kill, I felt it's going to be penta. So I just, even if it's not in range against Taliyah, 1 HP, I just flashed, and then I wasted my flash. So I'm not going to be, like, enthusiasm. I will be cold guy.
A flash for an almost penta, now my gold knowledge would say worth. But I want to ask you, you guys play FlyQuest tomorrow. What are your thoughts going into that match?
I think we won against the FlyQuest last game, right? So it's not like, I'm not going to expect it will be easy. Just because we won this game, I think it's not, reason is, because they are Golden Guardian. Just the reason is we play the same as in the Scream. Like we play the pick ban same as Scream, and then, yeah, just I will play same as in Scream, you know, on the stage.
Well, Arrow, congratulations again on your win, and good luck with tomorrow. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, OpTic. OpTic Gaming moving to 3-6. And before we get into the game itself, I want to talk about Arrow, that guy on your screen there. Again, if we look at the history of him in the LCS, he came in with such high expectation as a top-tier ADC and has struggled throughout at times. But it was really interesting to get some individual insight from him specifically here just now.
Yeah, he was our one to watch at the top of the day, had a pretty good performance, but you can hear that he's critical of himself even when he thinks he's playing well. He said, like, I'm playing good, but I'm not playing well enough to help my team win as we need. And then even there, he's like, I could have got a penta, I get over enthusiastic, and then I waste my flash at a 1 HP Taliyah. Like, I don't need to do that. I should be holding that in a game where, you know, if something goes bad, we might lose. So I think it's very interesting to see how critical he is of himself while still performing well.
Right, coming off of a victory and being one of the major reasons why they are winning. Jat, what are your thoughts on this guy as a player?
He should have flashed. Like, I wanted to go for the penta. He did. I know, and he did. I think it's fine. I agree that in close games he probably shouldn't. Overall, I like the way he is trending for this team, especially if he's able to pull out lane-dominant picks in the right environments, and did well this game.
All right, now let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all. Let's pull up Champ Select. The thing I'm going to point out.
Victor! So they
didn't do your build, though.
Yeah, so we talked about this on NALCS Countdown last Sunday, And the build we had pointed out would have been the Abyssal Mask and Iceborne Gauntlet. And he didn't do that, but I think he had his own reasons for it. They had a very strong front line in this game. So he didn't need, in his eyes, the bruiserness that the other build can offer. Even if the damage is somewhat comparable, this is obviously going to be higher damage. And he played it great.
Right. I mean, higher damage comes, but also is aided by the fact that so much attention was thrown towards that mid lane. We're seeing that Predator Skarner really start to wreak havoc on a lane that we had said had been relegated to, you know, pushing and roaming, or, you know, wave clear and team fighting.
Yeah, I mean, the Skarner gets a good angle on you. You're a little pushed up. That's a long lane to chase down. That first blood's huge on a Viktor, allows you to get your first upgrade much easier, and that wave clear comes in, and then the skirmishes keep breaking out around mid lane now that they're ahead. That's perfect for the Viktor, who ends up very quickly 4-0 at like 12, 15 minutes, and that's kind of why it's good to see that full AP build. It's like, I'm the furthest ahead of my team. I will do a ton of damage. Like Jazz said, great front line. You can argue, given the way the enemy team's comp worked, it was like Alistar and Camille. A lot of people are going to be jumping on you, and being tankier is good because you can't throw away your lead. But powerOfEvil is very confident in himself, knows that he's not going to get jumped on and killed that much. So, hey, I wanted to do more damage.
Right. And looking at a 4-0 Viktor, you would probably say that from this point forward, easy win for OpTic Gaming. However, not the case this time around. And that's where we have to lend, you know, a tip of the hat to Golden Guardians for some of the moves that they made throughout that mid-game to keep themselves in it, particularly here in the bot lane.
And you heard Arrow saying that, like, he knew that this was the only play the enemy team can make. Their mid lane is destroyed. Their top lane's a losing matchup. They have engaged tools in the bot lane. Arrow was like, this is what they need to do. He kind of knew it was coming. And you have to say, like you said, congrats for Golden Guardians for finding the one play that they can really look for in that part of the game.
Right, got Deftly off the ground, kept it close from that point forward, pushes us to 26 minutes. That quadra kill for Arrow, almost getting the Penta, but they lit the Baron afterwards.
Yeah, and a lot of this fight was all about Golden Guardians trying to kill Viktor. So you can see them really just going all in through the Chaos Storm that nearly kills Deftly. The hit there from Arrow was the last hit, and then when they finally do bring down powerOfEvil, they've used all their CDs, and it doesn't mean there's not an axe-spinning Draven with Infinity Edge crushing through the rest of his team. Is able to pick up the Quadra after that stopwatch, but oh so close to the pentakill.
Yep, flashed in, still in the range of the Alistar, gets pulved up, so a little unfortunate, but there you see the gold graph kind of balloons up after that.
Right.
And these are the two kind of focal points, of course, that we keep talking about with OpTic is powerOfEvil and Arrow, huge late game threats. When they both get ahead like this, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Kill the Viktor because he's a monster threat, and then there's, like you said, this Draven running around.
Yeah, and I do think Zig had one of his best games this split, even though it was unnoticed, because they blind picked a Gnar into a Camille, which is something the Golden Guardians has found success with, and that wasn't a factor at all.
Right.
Like, you were never worried about that counter matchup. But I know Zig, he talked about it on OpTic's documentary series Recall. He'd been struggling a lot, reading a lot of Reddit comments, even though he knows he shouldn't, getting down on himself, and was trying to just refocus on his own play. And I think he had a strong step towards being on par with other top laners in the LCS with this game.
A solid win for OpTic Gaming, moves them to 3-6, now tied up with FlyQuest in the standings. But for today's games, let's go ahead and take a look at the players who were crucial in making the wins happen. Today's POGs are Xmithy, Phoenix, Svenskeren, Febivin, and powerOfEvil.
Really looking forward to Phoenix. He's a guy who's been stepping up a ton for this team. Everyone knows Huni, everyone knows Dardoch at this point, but he's really the third guy that's allowing this team to snowball their victories so impressively. His Zoe has been fantastic. Sometimes doesn't look like the cleanest thing in the world, but his sleeps are so accurate, and as you saw that game, didn't even need them.
Yeah, we started today with NALCS Countdown, having the overreaction of mid lane being irrelevant. 3 mid laners on the OP5. We did say it was an overreaction, but there were more ganks mid today. Zoe was getting through a lot more because GP was banned in, I believe, every single game.
Yeah.
And that kind of deprioritized that huge dive or be dove matchup we were seeing in the top lane. And I think moved some of the jungle attention toward mid lane just naturally off of that matchup.
Right, fair enough. I mean, it is kind of odd, though, because even still, you would say that the meta largely reflects, in terms of just the champions available or being chosen, still largely reflects the same meta as last week, but with just a few minor tweaks here and there, no GP, and all of a sudden the entire landscape of the way the game is played has changed.
Absolutely, just such a different feel to the beginning of this week. Skarner, which was a pick that no one even talked about 2 weeks ago, is suddenly the highest priority jungler now and becoming a complete menace in the early game with these Predator upgrade rushes.
Right, well, while we're on the topic of the junglers, sometimes a jungle matchup comes down to camp stolen or smite secures, and then there are the hero plays that you make just to say, rather, I'm helping, presented by State Farm. In his game versus TSM, Cloud9's Svenskeren saved the lane for Licorice when he counter-ganks a dive. Let's take a look.
God, that was pretty sweet. Oh my word! They said turret, what turret? My goggles, they see nothing! And they may not see a Lickers anymore! He gets away, Skarner at the last second! What a play by Skarner!
I'm burning this here. Oh. Oh! Chat around. Nice. Nice. Super good guy, maybe. Bot lane's gone now.
So calm.
Yeah, he's like,
So
I got you.
Yeah.
Try to run. You know,
Turn around. They're done. We stunned him in the turret. It's over.
I mean, amazingly calm. Yeah, amazingly calm for the sliver of health.
Yeah, I'm actually
what was the actual
It might have been the kind of thing where it's like, I assume he's dead, so I'm not even going to panic about it. Like,
maybe it was more that, right? If you've accepted the fate
Yeah.
of the situation, and then all of a sudden it turns out differently.
That was also the revenge game for Sven Skarner against TSM. Like, I'm shocked that he was so calm after all that.
Right, I'd be
I've seen
screaming.
so many other people just like slamming their hands down,
8-1.
swearing.
They're used to winning now. That's more what it
just-
is.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Business
They're
as
used to
usual.
winning. All right, let's close out the day by looking at the standings. Cloud9 and EchoFox, they maintain first place at the halfway point of the split, while Clutch Gaming pull away with sole possession of 4th. OpTic Gaming joined CounterLogic Gaming and FlyQuest in 7th. Is this what you thought you would be looking at?
Not
Middle
quite.
of week 5?
Definitely
No.
not quite.
No.
Because you looked with TSM and COG.
Well, we know
you
it's not
pull
what
your
Chat
hands
was
to.
looking at, middle of week 5.
TSM is in 6th as well, but like Echo Fox and Cloud9 being the top is also something that very few, if any, people would have seen. And also how pronounced they are with the 2-game gap above Team Liquid and then a 3-game gap above everyone else. They've been really, really good.
Of course, any shifting that happened was as a result of the games today. Let's go ahead and take another look at the predictions as you guys laid them out.
4-1,
Wow.
not bad.
4-1, yeah.
Clutch Gaming is the one we misfired on, and support play I don't think was super good in that game, but mainly just Fly's champion pool getting attacked so well was key to Clutch Gaming's victory.
Yeah, and it's funny, people are always like, well, why don't you change things up and try and be different to make up some ground on Jet? And it's like, because I don't want to make them wrong and end up further behind.
Right,
Clutch,
but,
then you'd be
you
tied.
could have gotten 5-0 today.
I could have gotten 5
So the point remains.
You could always be perfect.
Yeah, why didn't
Why
you?
do
we
people
not
make
perfect?
mistakes in life? I don't get it.
Guy.
I don't understand.
Anyway, we return tomorrow, and I cannot hammer this enough. The NALCS.
Alarm. Hey, guys, pay attention to this one.
There it is. All right, just find that. Scrub for that in the VOD. All right, the NALCS countdown kicks off with our new start time at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, with Game 1 of Clutch Gaming versus TSM starting at noon. But hey, tune in at 11:30 because we're awesome. Yeah. Team Liquid and Golden Guardians, they'll play shortly after. Then Kobe, Sven, and Mithy will be bringing you Game 3, Echo Fox versus Cloud9 from the NALCS Lounge on Riot Games 2. We said it before, but I will say it again. Mithy is one of the most intelligent players I've ever spoken to. His ability to verbalize why it is you make decisions as a pro player or what his thinking is behind a play astounds me. So I would definitely recommend tuning in for that.
That Game 3, so many things are moving towards that. Not only will it be a definitive first place, it is the 2 definitive first places after the first round, but immediately getting a rematch. Like, whoever wins that is front runner for first seed.
There you have it. Now for myself, the cast, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the NALCS. Good night.